Why true music lovers make a big switch. And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important. Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong, and no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
About the issue of the private jet, and whether or not it is being paid for by Liberia, I will tell you that the president have not paid for any private jet and does not have any interest in paying money for private jets. As you know, Liberia is currently challenged in the transportation sector. And one of the issues that he has said consistently is that his goal is to make sure that the sectors, the important sectors, are taken care of. in his own private to procure private jet. That is not the government's priority at the moment. Even though every country, the president say you go to other countries, the presidents will have a presidential plane. The country has a presidential plane, but currently Liberia does not have one, and our current president is not interested in procuring one at the moment because one, there are no resources for it. Secondly, there are other high-level and key priorities that the president cares about. It's not whether the president paid for it or not. I think the lingering question that many pundits have talked about is on the issue of this private jet. It's not is to say, why the president is going private jet, but I would say there's nothing wrong with a country inviting our president and inviting him and sending the presidential plane. And this was specifically in light of the Guinea-Bissau's travel. The president did not pay for travel.
Let me address this private jet issue. My response may not go down well. As Darius Dillon, who campaigned against private jet, use of private jet against President Weah, I want to publicly apologize to President Weah because we did not understand the constraints and the reasons and the justification for using private jet by the president of Liberia. We condemn it. Now, both say, don't apologize. Lord, let me tell you, this country, they say when you wrong, play traffic and say you're not wrong. They can respect you, they can only follow the year. Lord, let me tell you something. In good conscience, it's good to admit that you're wrong. We see the need, and I said now, the use of private jet by the president of Liberia. The thing that can solve it, the private jet issue, is for us to procure a presidential jet for Liberia, for the use of the president and for official use.
We start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet are people of integrity. And secondly, want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known, the purpose of coming to government, to know that it's public service. And if you are not ready to serve the public, you can go elsewhere. But we want to make sure that we start on a clear note. I'm not coming new to government, although in different positions, ran a public corporation that was credible. And I can tell you that I come to work not with friendship. I have friends, but there is a clear line of demarcation between friendship, family, and managing. With the experience that we come with a country that celebrates 176 years, and with the life of our people living below the poverty line, I don't think we come into government again to start thinking about our family, to start talking about. I think we come there to make sure that we give the Liberian people hope, and I'm committed to that. That the people of our country stood on line, they protected the votes, not to bring a team again that will do the same thing that the other people are doing or worse. So it's a clear message, declare your asset, make sure that we are prepared to audit the outgoing government so that they tell the Liberian people of their stewardship.
Don't ask yourself whether you go send. You see somebody in the street, you carry live there. I won't go live again. I can take my own phone and go live. Something got to be wrong with you. You call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Let me check my phone to get my web number. I'm working with President Bwaka. He's not on my phone. Something got to be wrong with you. You call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Let me check my phone to get my web number. I'm working with President Bwaka. He's not on my phone. Somebody ask me for but something got to be wrong with you. You call yourself journalist. You see how stupid it sound? You know how crazy that sound? Let me check my phone to get my web number. I'm working with President Boaka. He's not on my phone. Something got to be wrong with you. You call yourself journalist. Mr. Minister, can I please answer your question? You see how stupid sound? You know how crazy that sound? Let me check my phone to get my web number. I'm working with President Boaka. He's not on my phone.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened on yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country, and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law, because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country, as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirms our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
Got the issues to talk about. We put them into bits and pieces. This is Liberia, our country. Nobody can do it but ourselves. So thank you so very kindly. May I appreciate your presence on the show. Let's have it wonderful info time together. As we gave you the info, we gave you money. Stop playing the King's Cash giveaway. It is the regular day. Instant receiving of your money. Start playing now. Star 799, star 24 hatch. So that you get your 4,000. Why the lawmakers, the ministers, deputy ministers, those in the judiciary and other places are getting 45,000, 50,000, 75, 80, 25, 40,000. Their people and children living good life. Yet you are struggling, even though they say we are doing the people's work. We don't have all those amounts to give you, but we can give you 4,000. Please accept it by playing just $1 or 70 cents US, and dial star 799, star 24 hash. That's all you need to do. Start playing right now. Yes, this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice, and we are rejoicing, and we will always rejoice. Because our men are always giving us the reason to rejoice. So we will rejoice. Our men create the scene for celebration, we'll always rejoice. Whether you like it or not, we will always rejoice. We are in this warfare and we are battling. This is a warfare to get back, a warfare to push one group out, why another group on the other side called Unity Party, they are resisting. And we are stronger than them. We've got the issues, man. They provide the issues. So we use the issues as weapons against them, and they are falling gradually. They will be defeated. Let's get started. So we're giving you some money today. 4,000, eh? Please. That's a good amount. It may sound small, but it can do a lot more. Get it by dialing star 799, star 24 hatch, play with $1, Liberian dollar, or 70 cents US. That's all. And then you can have your 10,000. Play as many times as you can. Let's get to the issues. Today is Tuesday, session day, but it didn't go well. Hold on to that. Let's get back to the state of the nation of President Joseph Yeman Boakai. The state of President Joseph Yeman Boakai. This is not the state of Liberia. This is not the republic. It may have that semblance, but it has shifted from the Republic of Liberia to the Republic of Joseph Yeman Boakai. He took over in January 2024. And prior to 2024, he, along the way, presented himself like a peace-loving person. He would disguise himself. Along the way, people fell to it that, oh, this man, the old man, has the love for this country. The man is reconciliatory. You can see, even though on the other side of the argument, people went into history, that he is not the character that can reconcile, because he has had several opportunities, and those institutions that he was part of or managed, he was unable to restore sanity reconciliatorily as head, and all of them broke down. Fast forward, the elections came. He acted like the country was divided. He played on the people, because in campaign, people use the mind game. Politicians use the mind game in campaign. So they fell for that again, that the man will reconcile a country that is divided. We are divided, the country. Only to realize when he got into power, he took on his pretentious skin and put on his devilish skin. And that's what you're seeing from January till now. The country is divided. And that became evident in every sector and is still evident in every sector today. The country is divided beyond the standard of the word divided or division. That tells you how terrible it is in Liberia presently. The country is divided. The country is only for Unity Party. If you are not a Unity Party person, your staying in this country will be determined by the president and his people. This is the Machiavellian theory we are living under now. Might makes right. They got the power. They determine what is right and what is wrong. You have no say whatsoever. You cannot speak freely. You cannot assemble freely. You cannot do anything. There is fear right now. The country is in a complete instability. Instability does not necessarily and only refer to war, people fighting here and there. If that is your definition of instability, you have to look at it from the other side. Instability simply means uneasiness. So there is uneasy and increasing uneasiness in the country. The president, who is the father of division, will manifest that in every facet of our society, to the extent that the president, the current president, who by cultural standard and governance principle all over the world is the chief reconciler. It is not an option, but an obligation. If you look at the stats from the elections, you can tell how divided the country is. Not only that, but every other person who was in this country prior to the 2023 elections, during that elections and after, they took note of the widening division. And what did they say? If Boubacar should have a smooth landing developmentally, he needs to first prioritize reconciliation, that he must give full attention to reconciliation. When the nation thought that was right, that those people were making sense, Boubacar said they were a bunch of irrelevant people who did not know English, wasn't making any sense at all, so he wasn't listening. ECOWAS will add their voice, pleading with Boubacar that you need reconciliation. You are the leader of the country now. You are the leader of all of the political parties, individual citizens. You are the chief reconciler. Hence, you have to start leading this country forthwith. Reconciliation, nothing short of reconciliation.
Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging and we can avoid any other upheavals. Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging and we can avoid any other upheaval. Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging and we can avoid any other upheavals.
Again, Mr. President, ignore ECOWAS' plea. ECOWAS practically begged Mr. President that this is important. This is the way to go. Not necessarily they were begging him because he is the God of the heaven and earth, or he is the lone president on earth, or they have not seen a president in him before. No, they were only sharing their good governance perspective with him, that as leader, taking over a divided country, you can prioritize no development until reconciliation is engendered. Hence, Mr. President, this is necessary. It's imperative. Imperative means it has to be done. You must do it. You've got no option. You have to do it. Mr. President turned down that. For one whole year, Mr. President would not even speak to his predecessor. He created what the people can call in Liberian term enemyship, even though that is not a word grammatically, but we take it that way. Enemy is enemy, but they can say enemyship. He created, let me use that. He created that enemyship between he and Weah. He sees Weah as his enemy. He cuts off speech from Weah. He cuts off speech from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The president cut off speech from most of the top brass in this country. Take it or leave it. Unity Party fans listening, whether it's hurting you, you can disagree or not. This is what we've seen. Mr. President took it over the dead body of the late Senator Prince Johnson. At that funeral, it was Unity Party family and the rest of the people who were there. They were there as sympathizers, but they did not see them as significant people. Mr. President goes to speak. He refused to call by name his predecessor, to call by name his fellow human being. After former president, we are identify him as the president, Your Excellency, President Joseph Yeman Boakai. Our president goes to speak after his predecessor. He refused intentionally, willfully, unregrettably to call by name his predecessor. What he demonstrated to the whole world, that he sees President Weah, former President Weah, as his enemy. And every person who will talk or express their view about this government, the issues about the government, you are saying as enemy of Unity Party, enemy of Boakai, enemy of the state. Even though yesterday they branded people or defend of those expressions. Everybody, even the unborn child, know that very well. So they left Mr. President now. Who put that in Mr. President's head? Maybe he went to sleep when he woke up, or while he was sleeping, the spirit spoke to him and said, "My man, you're running this country. But this country is now on the right path. You can speak of all the millions and billions of dollars that you have placed in your State of the Nation address. How empty will all of those be when you're running a divided country? Will you insert in your speech reconciliation?" I do not know. Maybe the spirit spoke to him. That's why I'm saying it that way. Maybe the spirit Pachimo. Yeah. Yeah. And if he told us, if he say everybody will get a glass of water. No, I get my water, the invisible water. If he will come with me water tonight. So Pachimo asking whether I have my water. Yeah, just leave it. So maybe the spirit spoke to Mr. President. He goes to deliver his State of the Nation address, which was very messy, elementary, disorganized, not representative of a State of a Nation address. Again, another awful scene we witness. In his speech, he now conceded. He has now given in to the wisdom that everybody was sending and still sending across, that you have to. This country is divided. You can be the president of this country and you're keeping speech from almost everybody. And you call yourself deacon, a Christian. Maybe that the spirit spoke to the male, or it was just a pretense. So yes, Mr. President, from his address yesterday, his sona, he said reconciliation, unity. The country can be divided like this. Oh, when did Mr. President get to know that the country is divided and can be divided like this? When last you ever heard Mr. President referring to the opposition? When last you ever heard Mr. President talking about and calling the opposition that there is a need to come together to reconcile? When last you ever heard that from Joseph Yeman Boakai? Yesterday, maybe one of the speech writers just put that line there and he didn't see it to take it out. Maybe God blinded his eye and he read it. Probably. So he's now calling for reconciliation. And I don't think this is, anyway, listen to him.
Policy to address the deeper social and political dynamics that affect us, the undercurrent issues that run deep in our country and society, including addressing historical social privileges that tend to divide us and create tension. We are one people with a common destiny as a nation, and therefore all privileges based on political, economic, social, and cultural lines, and our stereotypes and adversarial to the values of an equitable society. This means divisions based on religion, social status, literacy and illiteracy, gender and policy must not be allowed to divide us and determine how we live as a people. In this regard, I call on our friends on the other side of the political divide, including the opposition parties, to join us in fostering a government of inclusion. Our democracy should not be defined by elections where the winner is perceived to have taken all.
He read it again. He read it again. The president never meant this. No. Every word, he never meant it. It wasn't something he decided, thought about it carefully. I say it because he said the same thing before he took over in January in his 100 days deliverable. He said it. He said the same thing, that this country need to be reconciled. We can't be like this. I want to thank the former president for conceding. We need a government of inclusion. Reconciliation is a must. He said that. He said it in his 100 days deliverable. That's what he said.
The first 100 days, we have said it over and again. We know the cost of living in this country and even health problems that are associated with the messy road conditions. We want to improve that immediately. What we want is a peaceful Liberia. Our move will be to reconcile the society. What we want is a peaceful Liberia. Our move will be to reconcile the society. What we want is a peaceful Liberia. Our move will be to reconcile the society. What we want is a peaceful Liberia. Our move will be to reconcile the society, to make sure that we all get on board to build our country. To make sure that we all get on board to build, that we all get on board, 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 that we all get on board to build our country.
These words, just when it became evidently clear that he was the president by the margin he got, and the National Elections Commission was only waiting for 4 o'clock to declare him winner. He took the oath of office. There, the former president of Liberia, George Weah, sitting there, when he took the oath of office, he held the hands of former President Sirleaf, the current president, Joseph Yema Boakai, and lifted it in the air. It was a symbol sending to the whole world the message that if ever was a time that we as leaders of this country stayed connected, if ever was a time that we put our differences behind us, if ever was a time we sent a message to the world that Liberia is back on the path of peace, love, reconciliation, good governance, the rule of law, and every other thing, now is the time. That was the symbol you saw. Some of you have it in your phones. Some of you have it in your house as your portrait. Who initiated that? The former president, George Manneh Weah, on Inauguration Day. What did that tell you? Or what message did they send to the current president from that moment? You needed to start reconciliation. Did you hear, see, read anything from the president from that time till now? No. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only reason he came up with what I consider a perfunctory statement. The word perfunctory means you are forced to do something that you don't want to do, so you do it anyway, carelessly, recklessly. So he gave or said this in a perfunctory manner. All that Mr. President said, those words or those lines are empty. Yeah, why I am saying it is empty. If Mr. President is serious for reconciliation, unity to thrive in this country, anybody will be convinced or the expectation that henceforth I call on my predecessors, former President George Manneh Weah, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and others, that we put our differences aside and come together. Just by calling those people name, the entire atmosphere, you will see the shift in it spiritually. I had thought that what he was going to do. But if you listen to him carefully, which I did over and over, Mr. President called for reconciliation, unity is perfunctory. Beyond this, you will see nothing, absolutely no action, anything reconciliatory of Mr. President. Just if Mr. President had just called in his State of the Nation address at that part, having talked about the need for reconciliation and unity in Liberia with the widening division by the day, calling on the opposition to mend fences, to say that I here now call with a humble heart and contrite spirit on my predecessor, former President George Manneh Weah, and former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and all other political leaders to put our differences aside and move this country forward. And I am going to take the lead as president of this country. Look, if he had just done that, you are going to see God manifestation. You're going to see at that moment how the atmosphere was going to be. You know why it is raining occasionally in this country? You know why? Some of you have started to say, oh, we're getting in rain season. We're getting close. The rain season will come soon this year. That is not true. There is a reason. God is sending a message. You're understanding the realm, why it is raining occasionally. And it doesn't rain long, but short. It's a little bit tense and stops suddenly. And all of you, if you are a Christian, you know what I mean. You know what rain represents in the Bible. Mr. President has to take, if he must have the people, the confidence, the trust of the people, he has to take the lead. Nobody can do it other than himself. It cannot be initiated by former President Sirleaf. It cannot be initiated by former President Weah. It cannot be initiated by any other person but the chief reconciler of the country, who is number one citizen in the president. Again, this is the president's statement. We look forward to seeing when he comes back from Tanzania. which will talk about something happened in Tanzania. Listen to the president again.
Policy to address the deeper social and political dynamics that affect us, the undercurrent issues that run deep in our country and society, including addressing historical social privileges that tend to divide us and create tension. We are one people with a common destiny as a nation, and therefore all privileges based on political, economic, social, and cultural lines, and our stereotypes and adversarial to the values of an equitable society. This means divisions based on religion, social status, literacy and illiteracy, gender and policy must not be allowed to divide us and determine how we live as a people. In this regard, I call on our friends on the other side of the political divide, including the opposition parties, to join us in fostering a government of inclusion. Our democracy should not be defined by elections where the winner is perceived to have taken all. Instead, our path should not be on the next election, but the next generation. We must embrace genuine unity and reconciliation.
But that's what you initiated, Mr. President. That's what you initiated. That's the culture you created in Liberia since you became president. Once Unity Party won, that's all Unity Party affair. Once you're not a Unity Party person, or you're not flattering with Unity Party, you're not faking, you are not part of the cake. You can cut. That's what you made it to be. That's what it is right now, Mr. President. So you blame yourself. Now the nation looks up to you, since you have come out publicly admitting there is a need, a dire need for reconciliation in Liberia. We now look to you. The burden shifts to you. We put the script back to you. You start to initiate if you truly mean what you said, Mr. President. That will be doing it for that. Let's move on. We stay at the Capitol while we're giving you 4,000 Liberian dollars. Continue playing the King's Cash giveaway. You're just playing with $1 today or 70 cents US. Dial *799 *24#. That's all, and get your 4,000. It's instant. 4,000 immediately. We call you to get your 4,000 Liberian dollars. The SONA was messy. It was a disorganized one. It did not represent anything of a SONA, of a sovereign country. Again, just like on Inauguration Day, Mr. President almost fell. Yesterday, Mr. President almost fell again. Well, I wouldn't say much on this because I listened to one of the insightful discussions on radio yesterday on Face the Issues. AB and his two guys, very, very clever guys who have a full understanding of this country politically. They touch almost all of the basic features that associated or accompany that SONA. You heard them talk about the protocol, about the atmosphere, how it was tense, like Liberia is about to go to war, all of those stuff. The people around JB scared. Listen, JB is scared that the guys around him scared. You know why? Because they are giving all of the pieces of advice, these wrong pieces of advice, and JMB accepting because he is the leader. So all of the latches are going on him. So they will make him to think that the people are against him, that he's unsafe. All of these things prior to the SONA, you heard the statement that the EPS released. And then in that statement, they lie that there were accidents, increasing accidents. Their statement stay available. Everybody has it. Increasing accidents or intrusion into the president's convoy when not a single car has ever gone into the president's convoy. But because of their shady deeds, the diabolical thing, so they want to create the scene by which the country would say, oh, the president is insecure. The president is insecure. The people want to do this. So they brought that kind of tense atmosphere yesterday, and they spoiled their own occasion. They spoiled it for Mr. President again. Then the speech writers. But before the speech writers, the very people, we heard some of them complaining yesterday. We saw some of them write out, some of them did podcasts on their Facebook page. Some of them wrote. I have 2 or 3 before me complaining that they weren't treated right, that they were not given proper seating. That means the chairs were just in a random position. So they were not placed in a position that they will be seen exclusively as representatives. Again, you can't blame anybody for this. They say that they were disrespected, that it was wrong to treat them in that manner. Let me quote the one directly. He said, we were disrespected. Don't treat us in this manner. We should sit ahead of them. This program is for us, definitely. But who is responsible for the elementary organization? That y'all, the lawmakers. That's not the president's office. The president went there as per the Constitution. The Constitution says go there, stand before the joint session of the legislature, which means the 2 houses, present your agenda. The agenda is in threefold: achievements, hurdles, that means difficulties, and propositions or proposals going forward. So the president goes there. Who is responsible to set the stage? If some of the lawmakers are complaining, as they did, as not being, they were not given proper seat, they were not treated right, they should blame themselves. They should blame themselves. So that the executive should take responsibility for that? Oh, come on, man. That's the reason you will always suffer, because you're too greedy for money. You're fighting whole day, you're scrambling over money at that place. And simple planning. You don't even know your own house. You can't organize your house better. Visitor coming to your house, call the president. You can't organize your place better. You leave after the occasion, you're complaining that you people were not treated right, as if it was a strange place that you people had gone. It is a shame, a disgrace. If I were a lawmaker, I would not even say a word. That shows that the only thing that you guys care for, most of you people, not all, most of you people care for over there, money. Money. If it was some kind of 15 or 20 or 30,000 being shared around, nobody will complain of being disrespected. Everybody, whether it will be ethical or unethical, they jump inside to receive it. Then you're complaining, yeah, you people were not given proper seating capacity, lawmakers were disrespected. You lawmaker, you honorable. If you know you lawmaker, you conduct yourself right. If you know you honorable, you will conduct yourself as honorable. Most of you, the most messy, elementary, petty, tiny legislature we have ever seen, that the Boaka legislature, all kinds of elementary things, petty, you can tell that truly most of the guys and women there, they know nothing. They are mud brains, empty. That's why you're saying so. Living story, I'm telling you, upon anything we have seen legislatures, we have seen legislature in the past, they were not perfect along the way. They had their own problems. They had their own stuff going. But the level at which this one, to the extent the people, it's glaring that the people talk money. They will go, they're sitting down to the other hotel. When they're tired, they go to the other hotel, they against it, all kinds of things they're doing. We never saw it from 1847, from 1822 to 1847, from 1847 to 2022. We never saw it. That 2024, when Bouaka took over, we saw these things, and we stay seeing them. Your lawmakers, no disrespect to you. We're only talking about you people conduct. We can't go anything broadly descriptive about your personal lives. We can do it. But we talk descriptively based on how we see you guys conducting yourselves over there. Because you guys are the people's representatives. You guys are the people lawmakers. You didn't elect yourselves. The people elected you to do their work, to serve them. And it goes with conducting yourselves appropriately. If you can conduct yourself in a manner worthy of your calling or your work, then society will describe you based on their option, and you can do nothing about it. Nobody insults anybody. But they gave a description, like you hear me say often. I describe President Bouaka as Nebuchadnezzar. And if you look at President Bouaka's reign, how he's running the country, and you look at Nebuchadnezzar's story in the Bible, you see the same thing. You see the same thing. Almost everything with Nebuchadnezzar, you see it with JMB. But that is not an insult. It is a description that is entitled to everybody. You can, just like you will sit down and say, oh, that man talking on the air there, that man is this. That man died. I said, Andrew man did. It is your right. You're not insulting, you're describing based on your observation. Simple as that. And that has to be respected. You sit over there, you call yourselves lawmakers. In your own house, you can organize it. The visitor goes to your house. You can't even take care of the visitor well. The visitor wasn't well received. That atmosphere wasn't right at all. But again, listen, all of us know that our president is not in a good bill of health. All of us know, and all of us have to protect Mr. President. We disagree on the issues, but he's our president. We may not tread the same path, but he is our president. All of us elected him. That means the Constitution sworn him in as the president of the Republic of Liberia. So by logical reasoning, fine. So all of us has the responsibility to manage Mr. President's health. We have the responsibility to take care of Mr. President. That's why our curiosity is on Mr. President. Our curiosity is not on all over the world. The curiosity never on the other minister, this minister, that director, the president. If Donald Trump slips today, all of the citizens of America will be concerned about Donald Trump. If a minister slips, not much of an attention. Nobody has time. Because you know why? He's not the boss. The boss always take the attention onto himself because he is the boss. That's who he is. So we are under obligation to protect, to manage Mr. President, because Mr. President is not in a good bill of health. Mr. President is not in his prime. Mr. President is 80 and he's aging beyond 80. As the human being age, the body depreciates. no amount of ejections, they will give you tablets, they will give you prescriptions of what you need to do, you will still depreciate. That is unto any and everybody on earth. If that wasn't true, nobody would have died. All the money people would not have died, or majority of the money people would not have died, if those things can preserve you unto everlasting and everlasting. They had the audacity to give Mr. President 1 hour, 30 minutes. I told you yesterday, before the SONA started, that the people need not give Mr. President a long speech. And I was telling you people how the Americans do theirs. I said it to you people, that what you see the President of America reads is a summary sheet. That summary sheet embodies or incorporates everything. It is a summary, highlighting the bits and pieces. Then the original sheets are out that contains the detail of everything. But yeah, everything in the country, all the people in the country, all the chairs, all the microphones, all the human beings, all the cars, everything, pop, they put it together for Mr. President to read. I told you, Mr. President cannot stand for 30, 35 minutes. Doesn't it make sense to allow Mr. President to speak for 15 minutes or less than 15 minutes and preserve his health for another event? It makes sense. It doesn't say that if the president is speaking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then the message is not communicated. The message is communicated. It is not the length that one stands to talk. It is what the person is communicating. Once the message goes across, it resonates with the people, time does not matter. Now you saw what happened yesterday. Give Mr. President 1 hour, 30 minutes. And if you see how they write Mr. President's speech, the speech writers again have to go back and sit down and really do a clear, a thorough review. Look at how the Americans and other people, they had their diplomats read. If you see the script, I have seen that. If you see the script, one sheet, sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 sentences on that plain sheet. That is why when they're talking, you think they're looking at teleprompter. You think that they are speaking from teleprompter. No. Watch it. The sheets they have, if they're 10 or 15, each sheet will have about 3 or 4 or 5 sentences. The space in between is wide. So if the writer took his head off the first sentence, he's not going to miss the second sentence because of the space in between. His eyes will rest on the second sentence. So it's be like he's talking the script, as we say in broadcast. But the speech they often prepare in Liberia is always jammed. That is why the person will fumble with certain words and certain phrases and certain lines, because they are jammy. Somebody, when I was on the show yesterday, they said the president bent his head down for almost 30 minutes. But that was not the news. You don't expect a person to lift his head when the paragraphs are jammed. You have to create room for flexibility, that the person can lift his head, look into the crowd if he or she has that psychology, and then get back on into the script. So Mr. President's head was bent down all through. And what the people don't know also, the more you bend your head down, you're reading long, you're running out of breath. You're running out of breath. Let me tell you, We in this thing here, we experience it a lot. Those of us who read news. Once your head down, you're reading the script, you're putting so much energy out. Then when you're sitting as the way I am sitting and talking, I am sitting talking like this, I'm putting less energy out. So I can sit for the next 3, 4, 5 hours. I wouldn't feel anything. But I cannot sit reading or standing reading and then I'm hovering or bending over the script and preserve energy. No, I'll get out more energy. As experts, the people who know that, they will tell you. So what you had yesterday, Mr. President, health is not, he's not in a good health. And Mr. President has aged. And he can stand for long. He ought not to stand for long. Somebody in that condition, you can keep them standing for 1 hour plus. They can make it. The next thing, they start shivering. The muscle, everything, you start experiencing gradual muscle contractions. Certainly. So because Mr. President was speaking too long, what happened? He started experiencing feverish from the head. You saw how he was looking. And the guy who was eyeing the guy smart brought water to him. Because the president gave out more energy than he thought he was preserving. The people around him, yet they are yet to know that that man is not energetic. If they had gone just a little more, Mr. President was going to fall off. But you saw it. You saw it. You saw the video. If he showed you the video last night, I know whether I get it either. Just a little more, he was going to fall off. You saw how he responded. The guy immediately carried water to him. Then the guy said, drink and shake the hand. That means just drink quick, get late energy, discontinue the speech, go and shake the hand. Then you can go. Everything about yesterday was bad of. Lawmakers, your own place, the crime, they were not fairly treated. President standing in your house, no proper ventilation. That thing they had over there, they call it fan. Do you need fan? Mr. President condition, they're not fan. They're not fan. Air condition, Mr. President has to be in a place that is cold, but not excessive. The room should not be excessive. The cold should not be excessive, rather. You saw the first sonar, and you saw how he was. He was more energetic, lively. He delivered a very good address. There was nothing wrong. He left in good health. Look at his first sonar and this one. Put the two together and observe. He read the first sonar, he read with ease, with confidence, with relaxedness, with clarity. But it was short and to the point. Yesterday, you expect from January to December, or from January to January, Mr. President will be in the same state you were in January 2024. That's the same condition you will be in January 2025. No, from January all the way to December, you know, the amount of, look at the time and the depreciation of health within that corridor. Then they gave the man 1 hour, 30 minutes paper to read. So he was falling off gradually. He was losing breath. He was losing breath gradually. If he had just continued, he was going to fall off. And listen, like AB said last night, the guys who around Mr. President, I think they have an intent. But the hole that they want to dig for Mr. President, he will not jump inside. Mr. President will complete his 6 years. Anything beyond that now, we'll take it from there. But nobody will do anything for Mr. President to have some kind of disaster that lie. All of us, we're protecting our president. We disagree with him, but we will protect him. Those of you who are around him, if you want something to happen to Mr. President, Allah. Because these things you're doing it intentionally. Even if Mr. President tells you that I can stand for 1 hour, 30 minutes, tell him no. You will speak for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And you will tell the speech writers to prepare the script with the timing of 15 minutes. That's how you manage president. Not everything the president will agree to and you agree to it because he's the president. You can look in the president's face and say, no, Mr. President, you will deliver a 20 minutes address. After the address, we will dispatch the full address everywhere. And people can read and digest and analyze it and give their response. I put a man over there, just the man almost fell. Like I was smart to get him water. Hey, man, say, drink. Drink, then you shake their hand. I see. Okay, all right. Don't worry, part 2 coming up post Sona tonight with Baby. So that's all I can say to that. All right, let me talk this one, then we can open the line, then we get out. But in the meantime, continue playing the King's Cash giveaway. We're giving you 4,000 today. Dial star 799 star 24 hash. Play with $1, just $1, Liberian dollar, or 70 cents US. Dial 799 star 24 hash, and just play with that amount, and you can win. All right. So let's go this way. Our talking point, and then we will open the line. Let's go this way. This is how we LIV. Y'all go get here. You get here. I know 1 million scripts to read again. Okay, 1 million scripts. The man is in Tanzania. The president is in Tanzania. Can you imagine? He's still struggling. The president is in Tanzania and he's struggling. The energy conference is on. Mr. President was called to deliver his address. I want to believe that the people saw what happened in Liberia, and they are inviting the president of Liberia. So they've decided, instead of standing, all the speakers will sit. Still, Mr. President is sitting, and he's finding it difficult to read his own script. You can see the frailty in Mr. President. You can see the frailty in Mr. President. He's at the energy conference, delivering his address. He's struggling. He's struggling with his speech. He's struggling with his speech. Let me give you an understanding. So you'll see Mr. President. He's struggling. Where is it? Let me give you an excerpt of Mr. President, and you will see him. You will see Mr. President struggling. The state people were not understanding. Yeah, Mr. President. Let's go.
The younger ones are aware
Now watch it also on the screen.
Important. We are honored to be here today, and we want to thank you for all that you've done to make us comfortable. Achieving universal energy access is essential to drive prosperity, inclusion, and sustainable livable condition. We in Liberia, and I want to thank my friend and brother, Edison, for also working with partners like the World Bank.
You're listening how Mr. President is sounding? Imagine the microphone is an extended microphone. I mean, the microphone alone, just like the one you see me using, the one we're using in Kings. So you can sit down and you stretch it. It's long. They use that microphone because Mr. President can stand for long. Not necessarily that the rest of the speakers over there are in the same condition or it was planned that all of the speakers would sit. No. Because they've heard, they saw, they read, they talk about Mr. President's situation in Liberia from what they saw. Going at that conference, they reached the resolution or the decision that none of the speakers would stand to speak. Instead, they would sit and talk. Still, Mr. President is sitting. The microphone is close to Mr. President's mouth. And the PA system in that country is as loud, clear than any other PA system that I have ever known. Yet, Mr. President's voice is cracking. He can come out clear. Listen again.
The Rockefeller Foundation, and also all of those who are contributing to helping us bring solution to our energy problem. I think also it's also a good management in terms of the African Development Bank taking that board to make itself available to be able to work with partners. We are excited to be here today, to be among those that have been considered to listen to our energy problems and be able to contribute. We are doing a lot. In fact, we are very blessed in terms of availability of means by which we can improve our energy problem.
Yeah. And the president had his scripts, the papers. The people designed the paper in a way the sheets are not long and not very many. So they just, your few paragraphs, you just read it with ease. Still, Mr. President, fumble, his voice, the cracking. You know why? Because I want to believe that he stood for very long yesterday and he got on a charter flight, though a charter flight, but he was in the air for several hours again, suffering from jet lag. Then getting off the plane to get ready the next day for the conference. So if you look at the itinerary, Mr. President didn't have much time to rest. And I hope that nothing happens to him in the people country. Because these guys are overusing Mr. President here. When he comes back, you will see all over the executive mansion website. The president will be launching this. The president going to this to launch. The president will be doing it. The people overusing this man who has not completed a full 2 years in his leadership. I hope his advisors don't have any hidden intent. But whatever the war you're digging for, Mr. President, you will jump over it. We're protecting Mr. President. Mr. President will complete his 6 years. Then, if he say he ain't running again, well, then that's it. All right. So that will be doing it for that. Let's see now. Continue to play. Dial star 799 and star 24 hash and get your 4G today. It's instant. I will start calling you so that you get your money. Okay. Let's see the live feed first. Those of you who have left your comment before we go to the line. Matthew Cholople say, working in government over 40 years is different from having leadership ability. Steve Barker don't have the kind of leadership in him. All right, Josephus, thank you. Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah, don't worry. It'll be coming tonight. It'll be coming for part 2. All right, Sarah, too late. Thank you. Tobasi said, JNB, Joseph Newman Boakai and Unity Party are confusing education with intelligence, thinking that the hungry and poverty-stricken Liberian people are stupid, but very soon they will break. Alfred Dennis said, minority of Liberian politicians are, or majority, are brokers. Some are James Collier, Bonkande, or you want to say such as, okay. Archbishop said, look, President Weah, won the presidency. He first built a church. They show us that he put God first. That's why God make him possible. Boakai chose to dance with the devil, and he did. President Weah showed love. Boakai showed hate and bitterness and unforgivingness. Okay. Dubon Hill said, especially when he is the man causing the division. Yeah. The rest of it asking why I get my water. But you see that? No, if you will come with a water glass today, yeah, that was for the class. Yeah. Yeah, man. So let's go to the line now. So every occasion, hey man, our papi can show sign of falling. Gotta help the papi, man. Yeah, let's go now. 0772-23-9933, 0886. Those of you out of Liberia is the same as the WhatsApp line, +231, wherever you are, 304497. Female line, 0777980375. The numbers to have your say on the show, Real Talk with me and Sam Andrews. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, St. Andrew.
Good afternoon, madam.
But my son, why are you talking like you want for us to cry?
Lehana.
You want for us to feel sorry for him?
What do you mean?
Yeah, but the way you explain it about him, there may some president. And you hear what you don't eat.
Oh.
And he's damn wicked man like him. There's suffering people here. Anything he says, what will happen? Eh? That man, you want any that man older than Helen Johnson? And if you send or talk, why you can't send? And you hear what it? The man is too wicked. Sacking people, making people to be hungry. Then he's talking about rest at $200. He will feed it as he planned wicked and will follow him.
Okay, well.
Wicked and will follow him. The way you see you for you.
No, but the man calling for reconciliation now.
For who?
The country now.
You employ the people like that.
Because other one in reconciliation.
You employ the people. Then how you awkward and how you behave your age.
All right. Let's go to the
You
next
support.
person.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a nice Tuesday. Hello. Yeah.
It's a hard time for our country.
Let's hear you.
This is David King. I do join from somewhere in Monrovia.
Let's hear you, Mr. King.
Yeah, it's a sad time for our country that we will have a weakling as a president, and not just a weakling, but a Nebuchadnezzar kind of leader in our country as a president, and behaving, I have to say, he has all of the strength. When he cannot show that strength when it comes to public function. Every time this president mounts the podium, there have to be some kind of drama, that will occur. Yesterday, when I listened to that puppet telling lies to the whole world, I was listening to him, that the economy under him, 1 year ago, it was very bad. 1 year after, it has turned very good. When I changed $20 yesterday for $4,020, I changed $20 US yesterday.
All right, Chief.
And Joe Walker is telling us that the economy is better. He called our bread and butter issue so-called bread and butter. Can you imagine that?
All right. Thank you.
This was the same tune he carried around campaigning. Liberian was suffering, Georgia was suffering, people. The bread and butter issue are not being addressed by the government. People are stealing. When he got the biggest thief, and he himself
all right,
part of
Chief.
the
Thank you.
game.
They are
again ripping our country economy.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sam Andrew.
Yes, let's hear you.
Yeah, this is the voice of Sabu Rasta joining you from Point 4 to be exact this after in Zimbabwe.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, Sam, we long been looking for President, but Sam, the one who get power, easy on us. We long been looking for him, but we fall down that. And Sam, I even hear you discussing King Nebuchadnezzar. You know, King Nebuchadnezzar was so powerful to the extent that he left his own Aaron and went to his friend Aaron to overthrow his friend. That's how Baga looking. Baga getting one of government things to focus on, but he failed to focus on it because things he focus on. Today, he decided to force speaker on us to do what we don't want in the country.
All right,
while we're in the world, same democratic government, and if the president will be addressing the nation with just a few tell a lot because they say because majority carry rule, so you just get certain few guys there with you. What we say, I want people to go represent, or you put our people there, you not our people there. But you just get certain few guys because they go and just say,
okay, Chief. Thank you. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Let's hear you.
Sam Andrew.
Good afternoon, sir. Let's hear you.
Peter David Castle, cover under the street light in Roy Johnson. Thank you very much for the fascinating discussion this afternoon. Mr. Sam Andrew, the word currently is not for an old man, more especially when it comes to leadership. So whatever is happening to President Bouaka, he deserves it. Because he's old, and when you are old, we live in the world of technology. It's not for old men. When it comes to leadership, you need people that have made research, people that are very much active and physically and mentally. And when you look at Jesse Imam Bouaka, every structure of him has totally deteriorated. Look at the degree, he carried in Tanzania. You read it. All other presidents are really energetically. Then you really can get a K2 student.
But you know the man's condition, and then you expect him to read like someone in his or her prime. The man, he's not a reader. His age and his condition can allow him. So fluency is not part of his life. Thank you. Hello.
Mr. Andrews.
Yes, sir.
This is the voice of P.S. Stein that was talking this before.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, you see the problem, Labour is insincere. Reconciliation is not in words. The genuineness in reconciliation is your action. We should see action and then you call for reconciliation. But the president is better for saying one thing and then go to do another. So how then can we believe that everybody is serious for reconciliation? You saw the atmosphere that was created yesterday. He was even giving chance to dissenting voices to speak out. The reason why you saw all of those security people fiercely around that area is because he heard that people are going to go there to go protest. The man is not even getting a chance to protest. Then how can they be a reconciler?
All right, Chief.
He not even realizing that there is a problem. The solution can start with men who will realize that there is a problem. That's the first step of solution.
You. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, you are speaking with Charles for this voting presiding period community. You know, it has been to all Braga national address. It has been that we know that Braga is not going to see anything sound to the Latvian people, but to just bring lies to the Latvian people, saying that the community is stable. What about that to the Latvian people? So we know that.
I ain't talking about prices, though. I ain't talking about prices, my man. I ain't talking about prices. Your thing you can control the show. The thing I talk about, that one you call, you talk on. The thing I talk about, the one you get in your heart, that one you want to talk, you're not talking here. I talk about the president reconciliation. Talk about the lawmakers complaining now, or a few lawmakers that they were not treated right, they were not given seats. Some of their seats were placed in the congregation mixed with the other people. President Boakai was giving scripts that led him to almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. He's frail. He does not have the ability. He can stand for 30, 35 minutes. It is not an option. He has not to, because it's an obligation. His body can afford him to stand. You see that in Tanzania. He's sitting down reading. His voice is cracking. Then listen, how people should educate you. You talk about somebody, the person get this or the person get that. It will not change. You want to come back into power. You stick to the issues. The people use issues to take you off. Use the same issues to take them off. But you put so much hate and vexation in you. You just talking, oh, bagade, bagada, bagada. Look at the issues. Go to the issues. That issues you can change people's mind from. The more you talk about issues, United Party people start getting weak. Let them, some of them complaining and they tired about their own government. Some people have left. Some people even won't come. All of these things. So the more you discuss the issue, the more you in the advantage position to take them off. But you can bring vexation to the core. You're getting on the person, on the personality. It will not change anything. Hello. Okay, just one or two, then we move. Let's come here. Hello.
Yes, hey, Andrew, how you doing?
I'm good as always. And you?
Yeah, I'm thank God for life.
Great. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is my sister. I'm calling from Florida and Lady Yeke.
Let's hear you. They pull you outside today. They push you outside. They chunk you outside by way.
Who push you outside?
Oh. What? You know,
my man,
they push the man outside.
I agree, but the man keep telling you that man not speak up.
Yeah, they push the man. My Sisi, you know how they do? The full sheriff, I don't know how they can call them shower. The holy man, they safety him. So he carry him outside. You can call him out.
My father will get tired with Yake. It was 6 years.
Yeah.
No, get tired with Yake, my brother.
Yeah, let's hear.
He said, let me not speak up.
Yeah. Let's hear what you called for.
Okay, thank you, my son Andrew. No, I called me to tell you that I was disappointed in Boakai government yesterday. I was disappointed there was nothing in National for Liberians. Say, Andrew, let me reality. Let's be frank. Nothing was there for Liberians. Let me tell you, say, Andrew was so disappointed in Boakai. So now yesterday, by a busy Liberian. Talking about what so-called fool or say what have you. They see you capping us. Say, Andrew, you told them people that we are coming to today. The people are coming up with we are government. See, we're going to be a change in the bureau. We're going to infart a day. So then we cannot even get one cup. So either in the bureau, some also will carry. Then you sorting the brain, then you making fun on the brain, looking for yourself. People have brought work, and let's see. But then what's happening today in the bureau? And when you talk about reconciliation, then you're not doing it. Then you're not doing it. You're not doing the right thing. You brought machine in the country. So they will get the machine outside. Then you put army officers to come intimidate, say this thing, and you see that the right thing to do. No, not the right thing to do. They have to be the last to come out. So people outside yesterday will come and intimidate the Liberian people. They will run on your farm.
That one party state, man, Sisi.
I want to allow my son.
That one party state.
That
Bwaka state we in.
They hold on to what they holding on to.
Okay.
Not coming. Bwaka mean nothing for Liberian people.
Thank you.
So he's so power and compared to Larry power. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Let's hear you. Your name and where you come from.
Yeah. My name is Maximo, and I'm joining from District 15 this afternoon.
Maximo what?
Maximo Makaya. Okay, so Sam, people saying, let me say thank you for this topic. Let me first of all say to the Liberian people, Bwaka is deceiving the Liberian. Gone a day where people eyes wasn't open and someone will come and just say things and everybody will be clapping. Yesterday, we saw one of the sexy attitude of our president. However, the reconciliatory messages or the message that the president gave us yesterday wasn't a genuine one. Why do I say so? You cannot be addressing a special group of people asking for reconciliation, but you are not in your heart, you are not in a genuine for what you are saying. The first thing is you call us faithful on people. You are after those people follow us. You are you are doing a whole lot of harmful things to them, and you are calling for reconciliation. You as a leader should take the lead if you want to reconcile the country. What I on yesterday, all of those major political rivals to him, because the Sona, it was embarrassing to him. That was another embarrassment for the president on yesterday. But I know they would holler as if everything was just normal. I think that the country is heavily divided, and Bwaka will have to do the needful. Those that are around him should advise him to do the needful. Liberia cannot continue to be the way it is. So I should thank you for following me this time.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. All right. Thank you all for spicing up the first lap of the show. This break, and then we are on the second and final lap.
They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say you're They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say no job. Give us 7 now, taking pay. They step in your house every day. We not talk every day, but stay. They won't go killing us every day. Now who come and save us now? Now who come and save us now? Parachute killing us every day, making everybody faces to front. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say you're hungry. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say no job. Plenty people name for 40, one man taking 45K. No system, no rules in place, so corruption in our face. Hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, oh, hunger killing us. They say they want you. Honestly, Christ say you're hungry. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say no job. Give us 7 now, taking pay. They step in your house every day. We not talk every day, but stay. They won't go killing us every day. Now who come and save us now? Now who come and save us now? Parachute killing us every day, making everybody faces to front. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say you're hungry. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so honestly, Christ say no job. Plenty people name for 40, one man taking 45K. No system, no rules in place, so corruption in our face. Hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, oh, hunger killing us.
Oh, yeah, you're listening to Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with me, Sam Andrews. Today is Tuesday, the 28th day of January 2025. January is off in a few hours, and February is in less than 3 weeks. February is off. Then March comes in, less than 3 weeks or 3 weeks. March is off. Then we are talking about the middle of 2025, and then ain't no time, the end of the year. Then the National Elections Commission starts making announcements, preparations for clearing off by-elections, and then getting ready for 2029. We've got several by-elections ahead of us. Man, so all the money that Bwaka talking about, millions and billions, the National Elections Commission should not complain. No? The legislature shouldn't say the other appropriation can't justify why we must get 2.5 million or 3.4 million for just by election. No, Bwaka already told us we'll have several grants. Grants are free money, free. All the monies that you hear from finance ministry announcing government agencies, the president himself, grant. When you have 3.8 million, well, 4.5 billion. Oh, yeah, that free money, free. They gave it to you. The only thing is not coming in cash, but you no interest without on it. They're not credit, they're not loan, that free money. So the government, I'm broke. The government has money. Money. You heard Bwaka in his State of the Nation yesterday. So million and billions he was talking about. So civil servants, you're taking pay. Yeah, please help me if it is true. Because Gafwan said before the 20th, civil servants will receive their pay. Before the 20th. Today is the 28th. So I show that all civil servants have received their pay. Okay. Continue playing the King's Cash giveaway and get your 4,000 very shortly. Call the first person for his or her 4,000. Let's do it. We just got few minutes, just less than 5 minutes to call the first person to receive his or her 4,000. But until then, let's play a few more. Let's play dial star 799 star 25 24 hatch. Play with $1 Liberian dollar, just $1 and 70 cents US, and you have your 10,000. Oh, did I say? You see how you say 10,000? We're always giving you 10,000. So you say, yes, sir. That 4,000. Yeah, that 4,000. So we can give you 4,000. Then the next day we'll give you 10,000. So you see there? So collect the 4,000. Put that one in your pocket for. Then you get ready to receive 10,000 tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. So when you get all that 14K right there. Okay. So where do we go? Let's begin the second lap of the show this way.
Police, hold on, police, be on the street, please have your seat. Be on the seat. You have the floor.
That's how it ended at the City Hall House of Representatives. Makeshift House of Representatives. Shame. The first time ever. First time. From 1822 to 1847, they didn't see this. From 1847 to 2023, we didn't see it. 2024, we're seeing this makeshift legislature, this reckless, irresponsible. What kind of government is this? What Bouaka has plunged this country into? Legislators from RLJ to crime scene, from crime scene to City Hall. Sure. How you guys feel? Let me ask you before going, not you, the listeners, those lawmakers. How you guys feel? You just moving from one end to another. That City Hall you should be sitting in as lawmakers. City Hall. You went to RLJ, you embarrassed the people. The people were losing customers. You people were constrained to move from there. And you people have not left entirely because individually, some of you are stayed there. Now you're going to City Hall. It's embarrassing again. The government can generate revenue as it ought to. Because you have lawmakers there, gunmen there, you have all those people there, people fend off. When no revenue generation coming in from City Hall, then they will say, oh, the city mayor will capitalize on it, and he will be right. Because a bunch of people who call themselves educated people, call themselves honorable, when they have understood not their honorability, just tossing to and fro. They went to City Hall today because that place is not a legislature. The legislature is that building on Capitol Hill. So few lawmakers are meeting at City Hall called majority lawmakers, Bouaka lawmakers, that the men who calling for reconciliation. If you're serious for reconciliation, Mr. President, tell Richard Kuhn and the rest of the people everything illegal. You go back. No reason why the Chief Justice left you. You have few people over there. What a shame. What a disgrace. You have few people over there. Probably all of these things break Joe Bouaka conscience. He said, oh, reconciliation. The country is divided. That thing, it was too elementary. We can organize a better program amongst ourselves, and you'll see how colorful it will be. You call yourself president of the country. You go sit and order with those people. You have messed things up. Look what the people did to you yesterday again. Should you be doing that? You think if you have gotten your people involved, you think it will be that kind of way? Look at the message you sent to the international community yesterday again. Look what the people discussing about Liberia outside. Then you go in Tanzania, you're sitting down, your voice can hardly come out. These people sitting down here getting all of the money. They're enjoying themselves, riding their cars, their tinted windshields. They're enjoying themselves. They ain't got nothing to lose. Bouaka, these people ain't got nothing to lose. That you have so much to lose and prove to this country, you took oath. Those people around you did not take any oath. Sit down there and act like Mr. Stuptitious. You will know. They met at City Hall because that is not the legislature. Continue playing. Don't worry. Very shortly, you'll hear me calling somebody for 4,000. So let's do it. Let's play in the next few minutes. As soon as I finish with this Yaka Kolibadi stuff, I'm calling the winner. Yeah? They went to City Hall. Nobody should call that place a legislature. It is not a legislature. It is a City Hall with ad hoc meeting or informal meeting. That place is not a legislature. That City Hall, that government hall to do business and other things, and that the city government, that's the official office of the city mayor. That place is not a legislature, so nobody should call that place legislature. If you ever call that place is legislature, sorry. then you will be the dullest Liberian ever to live on earth. That place is not a legislature. The legislature, the Capitol building, it's just like you say in the executive mansion. Former President Sirleaf went to foreign affairs. Former President Weah went to foreign affairs. How the people were calling those places? They were calling it Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But the two governments gave the people the impression they wanted the people to call the place executive mansion. But it is not executive mansion, so it was hard to change. The people had gotten accustomed to their executive mansion. So former President Sirleaf ran the country from the foreign ministry. Weah most time ran the country from there. But the people will still refer to it as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yes. They will still say, anybody say, oh, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But when they write that document, they will put their executive mansion. But they were in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building. Everybody knows that building. The same way, City Hall is not the legislature. City Hall is the city headquarters of the Republic of Liberia, the official office where businesses and other events take place. Revenues are generated for the government. So where they're sitting, they're not legislature. You don't call them legislature. You call them minority sitting, minority secure city hall ballroom. They're in a ballroom, they're sitting. The majority black, Joseph Yima Boaka majority black, sitting in the ballroom. You don't call that place legislature. If any one of you call it legislature, then I know that you are the dullest person that God ever created, and God regret why he created you. The people sitting down in the ballroom, they ain't get offices. The legislature, where all the offices are, where the clerical staff are, where everything. So they went there. And Rachel Kun said he presiding. The man who could not listen to the man yesterday, fumbling. I told you about that man, he's dull, D-U-L-L, dull. The man said he presiding yesterday. The man was just looking at real Mickey Moore. Rachel! So today he took the stand. Yeke and the rest of the guys were there. Yeke raised his hand and he recognized Yeke. As per the parliamentary introduction, you address the floor appropriately. Either Honorable Speaker or Mr. Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, just the same way with the colleagues, Honorable John Josiah. So Yeke recognized the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fala, and would not recognize Rachel Kun as the Speaker. Rachel Kun got vexed. Temper tantrum overtook Rachel Kun. Rachel Kun is shouting and screaming, insisting that Yeke should recognize him as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Yeke insisted that he would not recognize him. Rachel Kun insisted that Yeke should recognize him. Can you imagine that? If you were duly elected parliamentarily, will you force recognition? You wouldn't. It's unto you. It is inscribed. It becomes it goes into your work DNA, your portfolio DNA. Everybody respects that. Why people are not disrespecting Thomas Fala? Because Thomas Fala was duly elected. So everybody refers to him as the Deputy Speaker. Rachel Kun insisted that if Yeke can recognize him as the Speaker, then the sheriff should put Yeke outside. That's how they call them, sheriff. Yes, and Yeke say, over his dead body, you ever recognize Richie Kuhn as the speaker. Richie Kuhn is not the speaker. The Supreme Court decision must be respected. Richie Kuhn say, okay, since that's the case, if you don't recognize me as the boss here, then you will get outside. And one of the interesting features of today's event in the ballroom of the Monrovia City Hall, you can see clearly the sycophants in some of the representatives because they got the dialogues, they're dancing in the dialogues. They helping the sheriff. Yeah, please help me if they are their name or their titles. Please help me. If I'm getting it wrong, please help me so I'll get it right. They helping those guys in the khaki. Lawmakers, so they helping the guys in the khaki, forcing Yeke to get outside because he did not recognize Richie Kuhn as the speaker. For them, Richie Kuhn is the speaker. And they know parliamentarily, they know that Richie Kuhn was not properly elected. You see what money does? Besides money, you see why it is not a rush thing to just put anybody into the legislature because they come to you, they use some flattery words, they give you a few money and materials. You see how these guys, they are dummy, they are dull. You lawmaker, even if the speaker, if a senior person who is presiding, for whatever the reason, ask that person to get out and the person is still insisting on making his position and the presiding officer insists put the person outside, they will never ever join the sheriff or security guy to pull that lawmaker outside. They will stay clear of it because he is their colleague. Despite the difference of on issues, he is their colleague. They are in the same intelligentsia and they are under obligation to be the brother's keeper. They can advise the brother expressly. That's what people do. You think something happened, a colleague of ours is being manhandled, then you think we as journalists, we will sit down and join the rest of the people to beat him or to force him out? We will try the best we can in our wisdom to create a scene that will not escalate into something else by allowing the people who is executing to see reason. The first thing will go in as buffer to protect. That's the first thing you do. But the lawmakers, some of the lawmakers from the majority black, the men and they join the sheriff in the ballroom. They're forcing Yeke out of the place, pushing him outside. Why Richie Kuhn recognized? Yeke recognized Richie Kuhn as a speaker. Then you see Richie Kuhn there too. He said he's acting like he's speaker now. Yeah, the mayor.
Hold on, police, be on the street, please have your seat. I'm going to be on the seat. Make a call back. I'm going to you have the floor. I'm going to you have the floor.
You hear after Richard Kuhn said, Honorable Koliba, you have the floor. Yeke took the mic. I will bring it tomorrow by God's grace. I will ask the news people. Listen, I don't know that representative, but I saw him. When Yeke took the mic I think is black with blue stuff around it. Yeke took the mic to talk. The other representative came with speed and pulled the mic by force from Yeke. The lawmaker, that the honorable people, that the people you elected, that the people you are calling honorable, that the people you elected, that the people showing that thing on display, and they know that they're on camera, people seeing it around the world. Yeke took the mic was given to Yeke. Yeke did not force the mic. The person, the conductor, because they have a person there who is responsible to take the mic to various lawmakers who is, whenever he or she is recognized. So Yeke was handed the mic because the presiding officer in Representative Richard Kuhn recognized Yeke, as you heard, say, Honorable Kuhn, Honorable Yeke, you are recognized. Honorable Yeke, you are recognized. when the guy handed the mic to Yeke, and then Yeke, as soon as he said, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the guy ran. The lawmaker, I'll get that many, I'll bring it tomorrow. The man forced the mic from Yeke's hand in a way that if that person, if the two hands had just gone together, either his hand was going to, his waist was going to get dislocated, or something was going to happen to Yeke hand just like that. Either one of them would have gotten affected. That lawmaker, that man, in a real parliament, they'll expel that man. So when Yeke say, Honorable Deputy Speaker Tobo Fala, hey, they better go best again. Richard could go best. Listen to the end.
Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out.
Hey, Joe Bwaka come here. You can see the raw illiteracy when it comes to power. You can see the creed. You can see immaturity on display. You cheer nonsense. Yeah.
Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out.
So, let me say this. Listen. You say the memo recognize you as speaker. No problem. Let's take it hypothetically. That you are the speaker. You are presiding. Yeke, by his own volition, goes into the ballroom where you're sitting, and you, Richard Combs, presiding. Does it require again? Is it not a recognition of Yeke that you are the speaker? The fact that he went there, must he call you? Must he say, Honorable Speaker Richard Combs? By logical reasoning, the fact that you're there, I don't get a problem whether you say Sam Andrews, Honorable Speaker Sam Andrews. The fact that you're there, you honor my authority. Simple as that. It's an endorsement by itself. But because people are so green, obsessed with power, they show that transparent illiteracy of the very position they find themselves in, or who they want people to refer to them. The fact that the man there and you're presiding, so the man recognize you as the speaker. Must he say it openly? You want open confession?
Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You chair will take section. Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You chair will take section. If you don't take the chair,
you see, the man even widow, he's saying, if you can address the chair, that means if you can recognize me, if you can call me by the protocol, if you can say, Honorable Richard Combs, Speaker of the House of Representatives, that's what he wanted Yeke to say, or he was insisting rather that Yeke say, Honorable Richard Combs, Speaker of the House of Representatives. That's what he wanted Yeke to say, and Yeke said no. So because Yeke insisted not to go his way, immediately he asked I think they were 4 or 5. They were already waiting. He asked them to pull Yeke outside. The JMB government, JMB legislature, that the man who said reconciliation.
Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. Honorable Taliban, if you don't take the chair, we'll usher you out. You chair will take section. If you don't take the chair, Sadi, 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 escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out, please. 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 Escort the gentleman out. Put the man out. Put the out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out. Put the man out. Put the out. Escort the gentleman out. Put the man out. Put the out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out. Escort the gentleman out.
Joseph Boakai, majority blog. Joseph Boakai speaker. Greed for power. Greed. Now, Yeke, they force Yeke. The pictures are trending. They hijack Yeke. They force him out of the place because he refused to bow to Nebuchadnezzar, principal deputy. Yeah, what happened when Yeke got outside of the city hall ballroom? Confusion broke out. Tense argument broke out between Yeke supporters, I think, and one of the representatives' supporters too. They engaged into heated exchange that almost led into a physical fight. You see where we are? You see what Boakai created? And then he's talking about reconciliation. Listen, before I get to Yeke, Boakai reconciliation will never ever hold. Because Boakai he injected his guys with this virus of intense bitterness and hate for one another. So to reprogram them, it will be difficult. It's just like some of the movies that we watch. You take the stuff, you take it into the lab, they're doing experiment on it, and in the process, it turns on them. It turns on them. And their own experimentation start to harm them. And when they try putting it under control, it's difficult. Because they've gone wild. That's how it is with Boakai. So he has programmed these legislators against their fellow colleagues to the extent that the guy hit each other. And you're talking about reconciliation, and you think it's possible for reconciliation? Well, for God, it is not impossible. But for man, it is impossible because Boakai has placed bitter hearts in these guys. Can you imagine lawmaker helping to beat their own lawmaker? Police came from the executive branch and beat lawmakers, almost killed them, and nothing came of it. None of their colleagues from the majority bloc ever said sorry, showed no sympathy whatsoever. Nobody from the Senate ever showed sympathy, ever said sorry to their colleagues. But when somebody passes off, then they will go say the big heads over there and say they're paying tribute, like the pretense they show at Senator Johnson's funeral. After saying all of those things, when Dillon insisted, where is that clip? When Dillon insisted, we'll bring the war crimes code. And that war crime code killed Prince Johnson. Why you get to reconcile? Prince Johnson died. War crimes code killed Prince Johnson. Nothing reconciliation going to happen, your leader thing. So that what happened? When they put Yeke outside, Yeke supporters and the other people, they jump in heavy argument. It was not easy. Then, after he took a break, he faced the camera. Hear what he said. No, sorry. My man Empire. Hear what he said, that he will continue to go to session. And if they continue to prevent him from speaking, he's not under obligation to refer to Rachel Kun as speaker. If that is their intent, they'll not respect his right parliamentarily, he will continue to disrupt the session. And they have no law whatsoever to expel him, no right. As far as he's concerned, the Supreme Court ruling has to be respected.
And will disrupt until they can respect the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court is very clear. The Supreme Court ruling is clear. Rachel Kuo is not a speaker of the House, and he can now be the speaker of the House. I will come here again on Thursday and will disrupt until they can respect the Supreme Court ruling. People they are trunters. People are trunters. As long as they are behaving trunters, I will keep dealing with them. I will come here again on Thursday. I will disrupt the place until they can respect the Supreme Court ruling. I was assaulted by my police and the Zion Army and other people. This place is where we're supposed to talk. I'm not talking somebody letting woman car. I was assaulted by my police and the Zion Army and other people. This place is where we're supposed to talk. I'm not talking somebody letting woman car. I will be here again on Thursday until they can respect the Supreme Court ruling. The ruling is very clear that Rachel Kuo is not the speaker. The ruling is very clear that Rachel Kuo is not the speaker. The Supreme Court ruling is very clear that Rachel Kuo is not the speaker. The Supreme Court ruling is very clear that Rachel Kuo is not the speaker. The Supreme Court ruling is very clear that Rachel Kuo is not the speaker. If they get authority, let them suspend me. Why they can't expel me? I will keep stating my unreadiness. This is where we're supposed to talk until the Supreme Court mandate can be respected. And the Supreme Court mandate will be respected. Thursday, I come here, I will enter here again. That session, every day I will come and state my unreadiness. I got no regret. Look, we are lawmakers. We need to respect our laws. We need to respect our rules. Let them use the law. Let them use the law. I was stating my issue. I was stating my issue. I was stating my issue. I'm stating my issue.
You respect the man's issues. The man is stating your issues. Stating my issues. Yeke. You follow the photos that are trending. Yeah? You follow the photos on that. The photo is trending all over the world. The photo is trending. Okay. Okay. So this one is coming in that Judge Blamo Dixon has found Original Japan, that's how it's called, Original Japan, and 3 others guilty of the crime of unlawful maintenance and sale of controlled drugs. That's what is coming out of the court. Yeah. Okay, then the Congress for Democratic Change has responded to the State of the Nation address. Let me bring you excerpt from that as quickly as possible. Then we are out. Please listen carefully. This is the statement that I just received. I would run as fast as I can. Listen attentively. The Congress for Democratic Change reacted, CDC. It said from the party's chairman, Janga Koh, the party's chairman, Janga Koh. Today, the Coalition for Democratic Change, for the first time in its history as a political party, is delivering its speech in response to the State of the Nation address delivered by a Liberian president. Yesterday, Joseph N. Boakai delivered his State of the Nation's address. And this is our official response. We chose to speak directly to this time told the Liberian people because of the grave instability and uncertainty that now hang over our democracy and economy. Our nation is in crisis. The state of the nation is weak. divided and polarized. And this was evident yesterday when about 8 senators, more than 25 representatives, and the entire Supreme Court bench boycotted President Boubacar's State of the Nation address. This is deeply troubling. Very fine introduction, insightful introduction. The party goes on. Liberia is in decline. The democratic and economic gains we made in the last 6 years are being eroded. We now see the Unity Party trapped in the very lies they sold to the Liberian people to get elected. There is too much confusion and disunity in the land. All of these require a spoken response that expresses the raw emotions and feelings of our people during these turbulent times. Our fellow Liberians, distinguished international development partners, in November of 2023, President George Manning Weah conceded political power to President-elect Joseph N. Boakai. This concession was made several days before the National Elections Commission completed the announcement of election results. In conceding President-elect Joseph Boakai, President Weah demonstrated an act of supreme patriotism. He broke ranks with Liberia's bitter past of contested elections, which were often marred by violence and Supreme Court challenges. He signaled the dawn of a new day in Liberia, peace and democracy. Where before others believed that our democracy was weak and fragile, President Weah showed that Liberia too was capable of democratic and electoral strength. We see in advanced democracies such as the United States, Great Britain, or Germany. President Weah handed power to Boakai, a peaceful country in democracy, a Liberia in which the rule of law was respected, in which no president, legislator, or justice was above the law. 1 year after this most peaceful democratic transfer of political power, Liberia now lies in a democratic and rule of law mess. The Unity Party administration of President Joseph Yema Boakai is now teaching the Liberian people that the rule of law has no meaning or no value, that the law is whatever the president and his legislative friends say the law is, that only ordinary common Liberians are supposed to respect and uphold the law, while the Unity Party bigots disregard, disrespect, and violate our laws. The party statement goes on. Our fellow citizens, because of the rule of law is so important to the working of any society, to how citizens' rights to justice, healthcare, or education are nourished and protected, and to how foreigners and investors perceive the role of the law plays in protecting their investments. The Unity Party's destruction of the rule of law has now affected every aspect of Liberian social and political life since President George Weah left office. Today, citizens are confused as to where the country is headed under Joseph Yema Boakai. Today, citizens are beaten and wounded if they dare get into the streets to exercise their constitutional rights to free speech and assembly. Today, whatever the Supreme Court says is no longer the law. Today, opposition personalities and former government officials are being witch-hunted and unjustly imprisoned. Today, the country has both constitutionally elected speaker and quote-unquote majority bloc speaker who was illegally elected. Despite these violations, the executive has imposed this illegally selected speaker upon government and people of Liberia, while at the same time seeking the resignation of the duly elected speaker. What a mockery of democracy and the rule of law. The statement goes on. What other thing is said? Let me just jump in because it's so long, so I will be skipping. Was this conflict necessary? Did we have to push this crisis to this extent? We said no. It has been 4 months since this conflict erupted, and there has been a total breakdown of the rule of law. Instead of focusing on placing volunteer teachers and healthcare workers on the government payroll, instead of working to increase budgetary allocations to key sectors of our economy, instead of working to bring down the high prices affecting our people, the Unity Party government has invested its effort in prolonging a legislative crisis that is destroying the country. Very true, very true, very true. Yeah. How did Liberians get into this big political mess? Okay. Yeah, let me skip to another paragraph again. I told you it's long. Okay. Of course, we got here because the Unity Party packaged a massive bundle of lies and sold those lies to the Liberian people. The lie that harmonization was bad, and upon taking office, they would have reversed it immediately. That the CDC was the importer of drugs in the country, and they would have solved the drug problems in 6 months. They say that no car was going to get stuck in the mud in the first 100 days of the Bouakai administration. They promised Liberians never to use private jet for presidential travels. They promised to bring down the prices of basic commodities in 1 year. And of course, they said they were going to bring down the US dollar Liberian dollar exchange rate down to its lowest. As if this was not enough, during the campaign, President Bouakai repeated many of these promises in the first State of the Nation address. 1 year after falsely raising the hopes of the Liberian people, the reality has now set in for the Unity Party government. Well written. And then they start to catalog 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then going to the end. Very fine piece, a long one. The response from CDC to President Bouakai State of the Nation address on yesterday. Very long statement. Very long statement. You have to take your time to go through digesting. All right. So let's take a few calls on these two from the ballroom of the City Hall, where the majority bloc meeting. They are not legislature. They are majority bloc. Just few calls. Then we are out. Few calls. Hello. Yeah. Let's go. Quick time is of the essence. Let's go.
Tommy?
Let's go. Let's do it quick. I don't have time.
Yeah. What happened today at the City Hall? If you follow the live feed, some of those guys are condemning Yeke. When Yeke years that they in the last government, they were hailing. Today, he entered the comment section as his supporters who supported him during the last government. They are the one criticizing him, insulting him, and saying all sorts of things to him.
Okay.
But I think what was done today to Yeke, it was against the human rights, against the freedom of speech. I think if you saw what Jara wrote, it will clearly speak to the fact that Jacob Jara wrote and said it was against.
Okay, Chief. Hello. Let's go. Time is fast spent.
You know, anything Bouakai do, if any Bouakai even decide to go from horse to horse, we will take look in Bouakai face and tell Bouakai say Bouakai, Rejeku is not our speaker. If any Bouakai won't kill everybody in Labrador, but Rejeku will not look at Rejeku and recognize Rejeku as a speaker. Rejeku and Joseph Bouakai and Katumu Bouakai speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to put them in.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Speaker Andrew.
Let's hear you, your name and where you call from.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Martino Makai. Once again, I'm calling you from the cinema of the state. Because the issue that had to do with Honorable Yeke follower and throwing him out of section, I think it was unprofessional on the part of the so-called speaker. But I think that the so-called speaker do not take no function because you should understand that in the legislature, everyone has their own feelings, and people should express how they feel. So you cannot prevent another lawmaker from expressing his or feelings.
No, he said,
So that was wrong on
no,
his part.
no, wait. He said the man must recognize him as Honorable Richard Coon, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
But I don't know how when I begin a protocol within the legislature. When I look by, I noticed that there have been other lawmakers who have been, addressing the speaker in a funny manner all of the time. Let me be on the record, all of the time. Maybe they've done it, but it's not always in the case where you have to call the speaker in a funny manner before you speak. So I think the free thing on the right corner or let's talk about.
All right,
why
Chief.
today a speaker, then the people will recognize it.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, let me speak the issue lastly. The issue that has to do with the statement from the CDC. I want to commend the CDC for coming up with such a statement. And I think that is timely, and the Liberian people will have to open their eyes. So we are sending back as citizen and member of the Congress, waiting for any legal action or any political action by our party. And we are sending back, and most better we are trying to now will be fully involved. Thank you for following me the time.
Thank you for calling too. Have a nice Tuesday. Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm Kofa.
Kofa what?
Nicholas Kofa. The Pabawate photo with you.
Let's hear you.
Yeah. While the mayor with the man and the honorable to call in, because now the man put in there, the man no vote, the man know his own right. Koluba know his right. So and now Koluba put in there for Koluba to say to call in the speaker. So no need for Koluba.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you. Yeah. Hello.
You want for people to see before they go there. That one then go sound and Buto and go talk it there.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. Hello.
Hello, Sam Andrew.
Yes.
Can you force another man child to call you daddy?
Just speak, my man.
No, if forcing somebody to call him speaker, I mean, now the king of speaker, because he's forcing title on himself. If I'm a father for you, call me daddy. So that being a responsible in the show.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Sam Andrew.
Yeah, let's hear you. Go straight to the point.
Yeah, I'm Peter the Week Council. I come from another street like in Lower Johnsonville. You know, Mr. Sam Andrew, when people are limited into idea and mentally depleted, result into violence. That has been an attribute of the Godfrey Unity Party. Look at what it is. That's a complete shame and disgrace to Richard Coon and his guy who call themselves so-called minority. You know, the whole system of this particular country, they are just turning upside down because they are mentally weak. They don't even know what to do. And the opposition CDC said, thank you for your reaction, but it should not. We need to follow our effort because the Liberian people are suffering.
Okay. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Sanju.
Yeah.
How are you?
Great.
Yeah, I'm Joseph Eberu calling from Bobo Allen. Yeah, what is unfolding on? You see the so-called majority board speaker, he think that Yaka Koluba will bow down to Epoho. No, it will not happen because Yaka Koluba knows his left and right and he's well educated. So Yaka Koluba will not bend out to Epoho. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Yeah, I like that. Hey. Not Koto and his Powo. Okay. What is coming in yet so? What is happening? Liberian pastor. This is Pastor J. Ben. What is obtaining? What is obtaining? Hey, not easy. that he duped them of 5,700 US. Amen. I hope this is not true, because if it is true, he will find himself in a terrible situation already. It might damage him. Yeah. This is Pastor Greatness By. Yeah, it is. People are reporting that famous Liberian pastor and founder of Fresh Fire International Ministry allegedly duped 13,000 United States dollars from 9 Liberians through his Canada Travels program. The paper, they are quoting some of the victims that the pastor promised to take them to Canada once the full payment was done, and there will be absolutely nothing to stop the trip, as he, Pastor Ben Greatness, had established contact with high-profile friends in Canada. Okay. Okay, man, that's all the time. Let's read a few comments, and then we get out to make way for the news that comes on at 6. You don't want to miss it. Some intriguing stuff in the news, some breaking. It's on at 6. You don't want to miss King's Newsroom at 6 this evening. But I just read a few comments you left. Thank you ever so much, those of you who followed the Second Lab, the pointers. Princess L. Peter said that Kome is really greedy for power, so he will force someone. Well, he forced someone to respect. Yeah. That's Mofle Cisse said, and Bwaka never talks about war crimes code yesterday when he was speaking. Prince Johnson died. So no war crimes code again. Jala Babu will just sit over there and get his money that he can get as the head of the War Crimes Code office. No War Crimes Code. You hear Senator Dillon? A man said, we'll bring the War Crimes Code. Yeah, he jumped in on Prince Johnson. They had a heated argument. No War Crimes Code again, or my dear leader thing. Otaka Kau said this 80-year-old Sierra Leonean man, Bwaka government has PhD and doctor in lies. So we don't believe whatever comes from the government's mouth. And Nesse Johnson, that's Jordan. Nesse Jordan said that's his job. So why are you feeling sorry for him? That job is not a child's play. Oh God, your fees are about your work about. Big that one person. Okay, man. Thank you ever so much for spicing up the show today. We're back tomorrow, if God permits. The news is on at 6 and at 8 this evening. You don't want to miss the show Face the Issues with A.B. Williams. You don't want to miss it. Get set. Hey, you're going to have a full picture, just as last night, part 2 of the post-Sona address and other issues. So you want to be a part of the show Face the Issues tonight with AB at 8 o'clock. Come on before 8 and get set. Okay. So if God permits, we're back tomorrow. This is how we go home. This is how we go home. We can go home no better way than this. I'm Sam Andrews. Shalom.